Hey guys, welcome back to the Formless Guide. There is a moment when the veil thins, not torn, shattered, but gently lifted. In that moment, something shifts. The world still turns, but you no longer spin with it. Today, we're going to talk about a profound state of being, known in the Theravada as the Sotapanna, or the stream enterer. This is not a distant mythic figure. This is a soul who has tasted truth and now walks with it. They have glimpsed the deathless and, in a quiet, beautiful way, cannot turn away. They are not yet fully free, but they are irrevocably changed. This episode is about evoking the presence of this threshold dweller and understanding their essence, role, and journey. In the Theravada tradition, the Sotapanna is defined by one fundamental, irreversible moment of realization. The direct understanding of the Four Noble Truths. This is the bedrock of their awakening. They have realized that there is suffering, a disease of the mind and the body. They see the reality of this suffering not as a theory, but as a direct experience of life. In other words, chaos. They have understood that craving is the source of suffering. They have seen for themselves how their own grasping and aversion fuels every pain and every dissatisfaction. They have recognized the path that leads to the cessation of suffering. They have personally glimpsed the way forward. And they know in their bones that there is a way out of the cycle. And most importantly, they have had a direct experience where the cessation of suffering is realized. This is the moment when they taste true peace and know with absolute certainty that liberation is possible. This profound realization is what allows the Sotapanna to break the first three fetters that bind us to suffering, which are identity view, otherwise known as Sakaya Ditti. They have seen through the illusion of a solid, unchanging self. They understand that what we call I is just a collection of ever-changing thoughts, feelings, and sensations. The second fetter is doubt, otherwise known as Vicikiccha. Their doubt about the path and the teacher has dissolved. They have seen the truth for themselves, and they now walk with an unshakable confidence in the path to liberation. And the third fetter, attachment to rites and rituals, otherwise known as Silabata Paramasa. They understand that external practices and rituals are not the cause of liberation. Their focus shifts from outer forms to inner cultivation. This is where you'll notice that all the rites, rituals, labels, traditional senses that were made to guide you, to guide others, were no longer necessary because you are now on the path to guiding yourself to liberation. Once entered, the current of awakening carries them forward. They may still stumble, but they cannot drown. A Sotapanna may live an ordinary life as a householder, a teacher, a friend, but their presence subtly shifts the energetic field around them. Their life becomes a quiet revolution, the quiet disruptor. They no longer cling to identity or dogma, and this freedom ripples outward. They do not need to preach. Their gentle presence and deliberate choices are a living example of a different way of being. The mirror of clarity. They reflect truth without imposing it on others. Their speech is gentle. Their actions are intentional. They do not compromise the Dharma, but they do not force it upon anyone. The one who cannot lie to themselves. Self-deception is no longer possible for them. They may feel pain, confusion, or even longing, but they see through it. They are no longer a victim of their mind's narrative. Their life becomes a practice of perfect alignment with what is real. The seed of liberation in the world. They are proof that awakening is possible. They show us that liberation is not distant or mythic. It is here now, embodied in a person just like us. And on that note, I'd like to share my own story of becoming a Sotapanna. I had heard the Four Noble Truths, and within each truth, a different layer of life's pain versus its suffering was revealed. And the true intention or true reaction to each of the pains and suffering that had came upon me in life. I realized that within all of that, what I was looking for was an individuality of self within I. And sometimes it's easy to get lost in trying to be so much self that your ego becomes something that can't be willing to open, to become free in order to grasp these things. When I heard these Four Noble Truths, each one broke what I thought was in my life, what I thought was my life, what I thought the intention of life was. All of the constraints that were put upon myself, be it consciously, unconsciously, by myself, or by others, they were all visible. And within all of that, I realized the nature of life became that of suffering. We suffer our own intellect, we suffer our own luxury, we suffer in so many different ways. And when I began to see this, I became more mindful, more conscious of first what was it within myself, as I also understood that myself was just a reflection of others, and that others were a reflection of myself. And what sealed it for me was a dream I had. When I was in that dream, it was an array of stars in a nightless sky. at the ocean and waves were washing by. In the distance, I saw someone I did not know. I saw a new beginning, and it was reflected in a feminine figure. And in spirituality, we see the feminine as exploration, the possibility of expansion in a way that wasn't possible or accessible to me before. And when I saw that, all I felt was joy. Have you ever felt one of those dreams that you know it's a dream because it's so good, the feeling is so enriching, it can't be real from what you've determined was reality? Well, within that dream, I felt and saw all the beauty in the ocean, in the endless sky, in the universe. I felt myself connect to something so much greater, as well as light a fire within myself that created this access point to consciousness. And that is when I realized I'd be moving into the stream, because I was letting go of past self, survival instinct self, that was thought to be needed to be in this life. That and all that came with that past self was understood and then let to rest. It wasn't rejected, it was understood for what it was not, and then what I or you shall make of it. It's a freedom that feels like it can't be explained other than by a spiritual awakening or spiritual blossoming. Because of this refined truth, this ancient truth, all of this came into a realization for me. And that is when I became an enterer upon the stream, before pursuing other spiritual traditions as well as sects. This was the foundation of the Formless Guide. The Sotapanna's journey is a beautiful contrast to that of the Arahant, the fully liberated being. While the Sotapanna has broken the first 3 fetters, the Arahant has broken all 10, including desire, aversion, and pride. Otherwise, you'll see them in the chakra series as the first 3 chakras, where aversion is a stem from fear, where we know in Muladhara, pride being the consequence of Manipura, and desire being the imbalance, Svadhisthana. The Sotapanna has entered the river, but the Arahant has reached the shore and is completely free from the cycle of birth and death. This path is a continuum. It is not an all or nothing journey. The Sotapanna is a powerful reminder that the first step is the most important. To have the courage to even look beyond the veil, to taste that truth, is to set yourself on an irreversible course. It is to place your feet in the stream and trust the current to carry you home. It is an experience to absorb and to take pride in now understanding the fruition of suffering, the intention of craving, and the path that leads to the cessation of them. Now, we're going to go into the Arahant archetype for the following video. However, to enter the stream is not to escape the world. It is to see it clearly and to choose again. Not from fear, not from habit, but from knowing. The Sotapanna walks among us as living proof that liberation is not a myth, it is a possibility for all of us. Their path is an invitation to look within and take that courageous first step. This is how you begin to grow that formless guide within you. Allow yourself to surrender in this stream. Allow yourself to find flow in order and chaos, yin and yang. Understand that they must all exist. One does not overlap the other. They begin at that foundation. This is your Formless Guide, signing off.